Sadie and I do a lot of fitness together. So so this is my indoor studio. It is, I was using it, and right now there's some saws over my shoulder because we're finishing the flooring in the other half. And so I was hoping to be done by the end of March, but you know, like all good life things, they don't.
It doesn't happen. Yeah, right.
So, hi, good girl. Nicely done. So yeah, so really today I want to talk about foundations of agility and parkour. That's what we'll do next week, is really one, when they first come to a new place, they want to check it all out and smell everything.
Yeah.
And then also just kind of get used to the equipment as well.
Okay.
So, and it's great that he's had exposure, because then it's not totally foreign to him.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
And what I find with most dogs is that they just see him as another, thing in the environment. Yeah, they don't, it doesn't tend to bother them until you ask them to get on it.
Yes, right. Yeah.
Like, excuse me?
Yeah. What is that about?
What's that about?
Yeah.
So the first foundation in agility, or before the foundations, agility or parkour. So parkour meaning you walk on boulders and rocks. There are some stone benches in Old Town that I've done some work on. So anything that can be agility-like, but it's more of urban agility.
Okay. Yeah.
And I like it. It's a lot of fun because you can do it wherever you are, and you can get really creative with what you want to do to work with them. But it's agility and parkour are a team sport. So it's you and your dog, which is, I like it because that helps increase the bond with the two of you.
Yeah, right.
And you guys learn how to listen to each other. It can be a challenge for some people because you do have to listen to your dog.
Yeah.
And be aware of what your dog is doing.
Right.
So the first foundation is being present. So being present with your dog. And whenever you go out to walk them, I always think about that too. Like, am I being present with my dog? Am I on my phone? Am I thinking about all the 20 other things I have to do? Or am I right here with them?
Right.
And when I'm present, I can be aware of their body. Oh, really? Like this.
Yeah.
So I am aware that she's wandering around me, and she's now like, hello, are we going to work? Like, I see the treat pouch. Like, let's get moving.
Yeah.
She's like, and it's nice outside. Why aren't we outside?
Right.
No. Because the internet doesn't reach that far. So I'm always aware when I'm working with a dog, even if there's other dogs in the area. I'm just always aware that they're there. And because of what I do, I'm always looking at other dogs' body language. And there's things you can find so this is actually step number 2. So there's things that you can find when you are aware of their body language. So if you get to know their gait, and then one day, instead of doing this, they're like this. So you see a shift in their gait, and you can either, contact somebody and say, hey, I think something's not right here. Can you look at them? Or just pay attention to them. And, are they off weighting one leg versus the other? Is it their front end versus their hind end? Are they sore in their back? So they're really simple things. And these can be really subtle, but because dogs are great at hiding their problems. That's just in their nature of the world. Yes, ma'am. I hear you. Go find some treats. So it's just in their nature. And in my years of doing rehab, the dogs that would end up coming to the rehab clinic were the dogs that we didn't pay attention. And then all of a sudden their back ends were paralyzed, or they were 3-legged, you know, and it didn't happen all of a sudden. It was something that happened over time. We just didn't notice the signs.
Right.
We'll find them. So being aware of your dog's body language. And when you do that, they know that you're aware of them.
Yeah.
And it's a really cool, hello again. Go find it. Go find it. Go find it. Go find it. Find it. Go find it. Find it. They're aware that you're aware, and it really creates this really cool bond between the two of you and a connection. Oh, careful. So that you're one. Go find it. Find it. So that you're one. And you're one in your rhythm and with each other. It's I don't know how to describe it, but now you're just being annoying. Yeah. Come here. Come here. Sit. Good sit. Stay quiet. Stay quiet. So, and then step number 3. Step number 3 is, you know, taking that. You're okay. It's okay. I know I brought you over beforehand because I thought you could be good. You already had supper. You had a walk. You've had supper. Are you ready? We'll find them. So then step number 3 is taking the first 2 and working together as a team on agility and parkour equipment.
Okay.
And there's some basic exercises that I will show you that you can start doing now that will prepare you for next week.
Okay.
One of the things that I'm sure you know with dogs is having patience.
Yeah.
Having treats helps if they're treat motivated.
Yes.
If they're not treat motivated, then a toy, something that will motivate them. And some dogs will work without treats and toys. They just enjoy it.
Yeah. Right. Rippy's very treat oriented. Yes.
That always
So
makes
the
it
thing.
easier. You're very treat oriented too, aren't you? Good sit. Good girl. She's like, I'm antsy. I want to get moving. I know. Yes. Good girl. Good sit. So as we go through the class the next few weeks, we're going to learn the various exercises and the equipment with them. So there's going to be weaves, and there's a technique to weaving so that you don't injure their shoulders. And jumping can be very technical as well. It's a great way to strengthen up their back end, but you want to make sure their back end is strong before they do some like really serious jumping. So we're going to work on those as we go through the class, and at the same time getting familiar with the equipment. Good sit. And then you can come into drop-in classes. And then what we do in drop-in classes is there'll be like a course on a piece of paper, a course. You can pick a course and go through a course for fun. You can time yourself, or you can work on technique.
Okay.
Good give paw. Nicely done. Oh, good give paw. So we taught her, she did not like us touching her feet when she first good give paw. Now she gives it to us all the time.
Yeah.
But it was, she didn't like us. And it's hard when their feet are muddy and you have to wash their feet and they're like, I don't want you touching my feet. So we taught her to give paw, and she's gotten good at it. So if there's a sore, give paw. It's sit. Thank you. Give paw is a great technique. I know some owners don't like it, and some working dog people don't like it because they don't want people pawing, depending on what they're doing. Therapy dogs generally they don't teach it because they don't want them pawing either. down, good down. But give paw is great. It's a great tool to have if they have a sticker in their foot, they have a torn pad. You can say give paw. They can give it to you so that you can look at it. I know I got dog hair on my mouth. So a couple things that 2 exercises that I'm going to show you that you can apply once you get to the park, and they're really simple. They're also something I think most dogs should do in their life daily. They're 2 simple exercises that can make a huge difference in their health. And people are like, really? I'm like, yeah, like people that do it within a couple days, they notice a difference. So it's simple but powerful.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna stand up, Sadie. I know. Now we're gonna get to work. Now we're gonna get to work. Move these out of the way for a moment. You come here, girl. Let's see. Girl, step up. Nicely done. And I'm not sure you can see that. That's good. Come back over here. Can you step up here? There you go. Good job. So this is what's called an elevated stand. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
So this is what's called an elevated stand. So I have her up pretty high. Generally, well, actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move this back. So hold on a second. Okay, so usually when I do an elevated stand, these are actually foam pieces. You can see them. Usually I start with one. It's about an inch thick. You gonna jump down? Okay. Step up. Good, step up. So I like to tell them, step up. Can you get that? Back it up. Back it up. Step up. Good, step up. So I always start low because 1, I'm teaching them what to do. I'm teaching them to step up. 2, it's shifting her weight backwards. So she's putting weight on that back end. And sometimes if dogs haven't done it, it can feel a little weird. And it can be a little tiring. So then what I do, back up, girl. I'll add another one. Step up. Good, step up. Nicely done. So I'll elevate it just a little bit more. Girl. Good. Stand. Back up. Back it up. Back it up. Girl. And then I'll add another one. Good. So it just changes the angle of her back. Good job. We do it the other way. Back it up. Good. Okay. I know we're gonna do. Oh, hold on. So then once you teach them to step on things, they always want to step on things. Okay. Ready? No, wait. Okay, go find them. Go find the tree. All right. Let's try that. I know. Girl, step up. No, not that far. There you go. She's like, this is too easy. So you can see here, she doesn't have much of an angle to her back. A little bit. Okay. I'm going to add one. Step up. Good, step up. So now we're getting a little bit more of an angle. Nope. She's like, I can go there. And I try, when I give her the treat, I try to keep her head and back a little level. Okay. You missed it. We'll find it. We'll find it. Okay, we'll find it later. Step up. Okay, she's showing off. But you can see so we're elevated on the feet and elevated on the front. So it's about the same as doing the floor. But you can see we now have a little bit of elevation to her back.
Okay.
Girl, I know, you know how to do this. So then, oh, we're going to go to this second step. Good girl. So I give the treat out so she has a nice line down her back. I don't want her head too far up because then it's back on her neck, or too far down because then it's back on her neck. So I just want to create this nice straight line. Sorry. So that shifts the weight to the back. They have to engage their core to do that.
Okay.
And what that does is that's a prelude to like getting on top of an A-frame because you go in an incline,
Yeah.
a dog walk, stepping over a pole, and it helps them learn to engage their core. Good girl. Good. So any questions on that exercise?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Good.
Is that anything that you guys do currently?
No, not too much.
Okay. Some people will do it. They'll elevate their food. It sounds like you have a couple dogs, right?
Yeah, I have a little miniature Labradoodle too. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So some people will elevate their food bowls like this, like put it on this step, so that in the morning and evening they're doing an elevated stand.
Oh.
So they elevate their food bowls and then put like the phone book there, so they have to step on it. So then they're doing an elevated stand AM and PM when they're eating their dinner.
Oh, okay.
That's just one suggestion. Or you can do it when you're working together, and it's nice when you're working together because again, you can create that awareness between the two of you. So then the next exercise, let me move these out of the way. Hi, how are you? So I was doing fitness with her, 5 minutes of fitness every day during quarantine. And I did them on lives, Instagram lives. And one day my mom went to walk her and we have a wood pile. And she just went right up this wood pile to go after a bird. And mom was like, she walked up that with total confidence, like she could handle it. And she was like, you know, I really actually wasn't worried about it. I knew that she could handle herself because she was solid. And it was so awesome because that's what I want to hear.
Yeah, right.
I want the dog to be safe and I want the owner to feel confident that they are safe. Actually, what are you doing? So this next thing, see if you can see it. Gonna have to stay camera. I'm gonna have to move them. Actually, I think that's better. Yeah. What are you doing? I need to get a drink. Did you find him? So the next thing I call step overs, and it's a prelude to going over the agility cavalettis. These are just PVC pipe. I got them at my local hardware store. I'm all about inexpensive. Don't have to buy all the fancy equipment, but yeah, this is just a T, and then a long one, and then a really short one for a leg. Works pretty well. And then I used wood. I used wood and cut out a hole for them. Oh. So then they can stand in that. And I can, the nice thing about these too, like, if I want it higher, I just stack them. And then it goes higher. Now, one of the things I learned with this too, they don't really need it this long. I actually did that based on my rehab days. You could cut them in half. It's plenty of room to walk back and forth. So one of my clients did that. And I keep telling myself I'm going to cut these in half, and I just haven't.
Yeah.
So, the board, good girl. Nicely done. The board. Good. Yes. And it may have been hard to see, but when she stepped over that the first time, she tripped a little. So what this does is it teaches them where their feet are in space. So like when we're walking on a gravel road or, a hill, our feet know what is around it and where to step. Same thing with them. And it's pretty amazing how many dogs that I do with this, at first they trip. They don't know where their feet are in space.
Right.
And that's kind of a problem when you're working in agility and parkour. You want them to know where their feet are. So
Right.
Oh, you knocked it over. You knocked it over. Okay. Come on. You knocked it over again. Did you hear somebody? Huh? There you go. Nice. Come back. Well, that's totally cheating. Totally cheating. Come on. Yep. Good. Let's come back. Good girl. Hey, wait a minute. So I always want to end on a good note. Uh-oh, the treat bag is getting empty. The treat bag is getting empty. Are you getting tired? She's breathing heavy. Like, oh my gosh. Okay, good job. Nicely done. So I always want to end on a good note. So she went over those and didn't drop them, so that's where I stopped.
Okay.
She's getting a little tired. Has anybody ever shared that with you before? Ending on a good note? Yeah, it's always a good, because if you end, so if I end with her kicking it over, then that's what she remembers.
Yeah.
So I want to end with her stepping over. Now there's a fine line there, right? Because she could get tired. I think she's watching bunnies outside. She could get tired. So I have to have the awareness that we've done this about 6 times and she might be getting tired based on whatever she did throughout the day.
Right.
And so I have to know, okay, can I do it one more time? So like we went over, she was great. Part of me is like, okay, can we go back over twice and make it great? And I was like, you know what? No, like this is where we need to end because she did well.
Yeah.
Sometimes I try to push it. I'm like, yeah, let's try 2 more.
Yeah.
And it goes bad.
Yeah. Not good.
Not good. So that's a good thing to do. Now at home, you may have broomsticks. You may have some PVC pipe laying around. So those are the things that you can step over for at home.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. I was thinking like landscaping, like some people have landscape things that they can step over. But even when you like walk, when you're out on a walk, do you guys go on walks?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you're out on a walk, and I think we talked about this, walking on different terrain. So that also helps them know where their feet are in space. A mulch, the playgrounds, kid playgrounds where they have that rubber like mulch, or the spongy grass, cement, gravel, different kinds of gravel, pea gravel versus, big pebbles. that changes their balance. When you get to bigger pebbles, though, you have to be careful because then they're like balancing.
Yeah.
And if they're not engaging their core or using their legs appropriately, they can get injured, pull something just like we can, right? So those are some things that you can do on walks to do the same thing.
Okay.
And then, you know, as far as the prep for agility, walking over broomsticks, walking over poles. I'm trying to think of some things I've walked over. Oh, like at City Park. Do they have it at Fossil Creek Park? At City Park, they have the human fitness equipment.
Oh,
And so they have some poles there that I jump over, but
yeah.
but I can ask a dog to walk over, depending on how tall their legs are, because they are a bit high. Ripley could do it, I think, no problem. I'm trying to think. Fossil Creek. It has a kids' playground.
Yeah, it does. It outside of the dog park, there is one. Yeah.
But I can't think of any holes to go over there. But you could do the same thing with, like, because I do know there's like rocks around there, so you could step over a rock. So just teaching them to step over something.
Okay.
Because then in the agility, you're stepping over a pole.
Yeah.
So, and when they, hold on a second. When they step over something, they have to trust their back end. They have to engage their core to do it.
Right.
And so that's all a part of training them to trust that body, so that when they do lift that leg, they know, okay, I'm solid. I'm not going to get tipped over until I can get my other leg on the ground.
Yeah. Okay.
And then that's a prelude to jumping, and that'll be, we'll get to that.
Okay.
So those two exercises are great for just the basics of parkour and agility. Elevated stand, step overs.
Okay.
There's something that we repeat, because if you're going to step on a log, you got to do an elevated stand. Some dogs will just jump up there, depending on how high it is. But I like to kind of elevated stand and then jump. And again, it depends on how high it is. Then I may just have them jump up because they need to get there. But
right.
The elevated stand is the prelude. There you go. Stepping up, to getting on the equipment.
Okay.
Good girl. Good job. And then what you'll find is over time, like, you don't even have to ask them. They just get on the equipment.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So during the 5-foot snowstorm that we had out here, I was out in my snowshoes, and the A-frame had about half a foot of snow at the base. And she was just wandering the park, and I trust her because we've been out there a lot. And she went right up the A-frame, like, it's just another hill. And she stood out there and looked around. And I had one eye on her, because something you don't want to do, because I was over here and she was over here. Something you don't want to do is leave your dog alone on an A-frame.
Right.
Because
Right.
they jump off the side. Same thing
Right.
with the dog walk. But she's been up it a lot, but I had my one eye on her and was watching her, and she went up and then she went down. You did a very good job. So I was so impressed.
Yeah. Good job.
And so taking the time to do the basic safety stuff can make a big difference, because she's confident. She knows how to use the equipment. She's like, oh, you go up it and over it. You don't, like, go off the side.
Right. Right.
Now, the first time that I took her on the dog walk, I wasn't sure, because it's really tall. It's about this tall. Unfortunately, I can't make it any lower. And I wasn't sure, but she went right up it. She walked along the top. I just made sure that it was there so that she didn't try and jump off.
Right.
And then we went down.
Yeah.
And I was very impressed. And that was because she's just confident. She's confident in what her body can do.
Right.
So she surprised me and I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, that's good.
You did surprise me. Uh-huh. So yeah, it fills me with joy to see them do that. It's just awesome. Because a lot of our dogs, you know, they lay on our couches and they hang out inside. Well, not a lot of Coloradoans. A lot of us Coloradoans, you know, we're really active, but
Yeah.
and the dogs aren't active. And then we go out and hike with them. And unfortunately, in the increasing years, dogs have had to be rescued off of very tall mountains because they can't get back down.
Right.
So that's my mission. So those dogs can get up there and get back down.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Right? Yeah, good girl. So the other component of agility parkour is just like us. So when you do a workout, you do a warm up and a cool down.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So first coming in, especially the first time, you can walk around. So like in the arena, you'll see I have kind of like a track on the outside. And so warming them up, walking around the arena, and he's going to want to anyhow, because he's going to want to sniff everything and see what's going on. But warming up, getting their muscles going, getting your muscles going, getting joint fluid in the joints, getting the nervous system woken up so that it's like, okay, we're active and ready to go. I know. You're being very good. And then the cool down, again, same thing, right? Just like us. So we just want to, my throat is dry. We just want to cool our muscles down because just like us and them, they've been working them.
Yeah.
And so we don't want to strain them when we're jumping into the car and going home.
Right, right. So just cool down.
Cool, yeah, warm up and cool down. And it's just simple as walking. You can do like a simple elevated stand, a little stretches. You can do some low step overs as a cool down. It's just chill. It's not, you're not trying to kill it or anything. It's just to cool everything down. So one other thing I want to teach you is pain evaluation. So, Sadie, can you come up here? Come here. Actually, I'm going to move. There you go. No, yeah.
Something. Okay.
Oh, you're fine. We're going to move this so that you can see more. Yeah. So pain evaluation in your dog. So usually before I start working, I do just a palpation on them. Now, my palpations are really kind of like a focus petting. Because a dog knows when I'm palpating them, but partly because as a veterinary technician, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Come here. You come right up here. Come here. Come here. Good girl. Nicely done. I know. We'll go walk after this, okay? Yeah. So I always do the same thing every time. I start at their head, and I just kind of pet them. I pet their spine. She's like, I'm out of here. Hold on. I'm going to get my model dog.
Okay.
Yeah. She's like, can I play with it? It's not for you to play with. No, it's not for you to play with. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, can I play with that, please?
Yeah.
So here's my model dog. So when I do palpation, I just kind of feel them and down their neck, their spine. If there's anything out of alignment, I feel their shoulders, triceps, and then I'll feel their back end and just see if there's, oh, a bird just smacked into the window.
Oh.
I just making sure that, if there's any heat that's there. No, you can't eat oh, you're going to take the dog. Okay. All right. Took the dog. And it's something that I do naturally now. I just go start at the head and all the way down. And it's really just focus petting. So I'm just focus petting them, feeling their muscles. Is there any heat that I feel in any of them? Is there any twinge that I feel in any of them? And that's a good, hey, hello. Don't kill the puppy. She's having fun over there. Because if there's heat or there's a trigger, I want to see if I can work that out. I want to see if there's any gait changes as I'm watching them walk around, because that can again tell us, oh, they went and chased after a bird and they just pulled a little muscle.
Yeah.
So it's a great technique to do before you work with them and then after.
Okay.
And then also like just petting them down their head. Some of them like it, some of them don't. What are you doing over there? It's also chi energy. So you're also releasing some of their chi energy as well and calming them down when you go down from their head all the way down to their back.
Okay.
And just noticing them when you are doing that. And you may see a difference. Like sometimes they're like, wait, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Because they're into our energy, right?
Yeah.
So those are the basics. Those are the foundations. And then we'll just build on from there.
Okay. That's great.
I feel like my chair is losing air. I feel like I'm really short. There we go.
There.
Yeah, so those are the foundations. So working together as a team, being present and being aware, and then both of you having confidence in what you're doing, and practicing some elevated stance, step ups. I call them step ups. Everybody has a different word. And step overs, which is a prelude to the cavalettes.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be any extra, like, if you're out with your dog and you're just playing and walking, that's usually when I do it. A lot of people are like, oh, now I have to do an extra thing.
Yeah.
And it's not, you can kind of add it into your walking routine or, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Well, you have a good rest of your evening.
Okay. All right.
And we'll see you Thursday.
All right. We'll see you next week. Thank you.
Okay. Have a good night.
All right. Bye-bye.